What's going on, YouTube? What you are looking at is, oh man, this is crazy how much on the yard looks a hot mess in certain areas, but it also has some outstanding areas. And just to be clear, I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we have been just hammered with heat. And you can see some areas that are brown there, and it takes quite a bit of water to get this stuff to grow up. Now if you have this type of grass, if you tried this, now please understand this grass can go dormant, just like the grass, the warm season grass goes dormant in the in the fall. So it's the same thing that can happen to this. Now you can bring it out of dormancy with a lot of water, and that's that you just ended up with that type of decision to make if you want to keep it green. Now the parts here up under the tree, it's not as much heat stressed as the parts that get no shade, and that's for obvious reasons. It just, the sun is just not beaming as hard up under a tree. And this is to give you an example of how resilient the grass is. We have had 100-degree weather for 2 months. We had the hottest May on record last month, and coupled with the hottest June the hottest June also. This is shaping up to be, we had a real bad drought in 2011 where we have grass fires everywhere. It's shaping up to be worse than that. And my sprinkler systems was down for a while. So I said all that to say this. The most of the brown, I do have some heat stress here. It's a sprinkler system, and some probably brown patch are fungus that crept up in there that I didn't get to get into. But for the most part, the grass is hanging in. And we basically had a July and August in May and June. So the weather really turned on us in May, and we got some serious heat, and we just didn't get any water. And with that being said, this is here. Normally in July 4th is a wonderful, pretty green lawn for me. Usually it'll start to be hot, but it will usually be really, really nice. But like I said, July came, June came in May, and July came in June, and looks like we're about to get August from here until October probably. But as you can see, I have plenty of green here, and there's a lot of drought going on. So I may get out here and hand water, get some water in this area here, and we're gonna see about bringing it back, try to get that, because I don't think my sprinkler, they have one sprinkler head covering from here to there, and then the other one there and there. So I just don't think it's the best coverage, but it is what it is. This is, I think I'm just stuck with the grass. It will come back, and as you know, I've said it before, I'd rather deal with a couple months of stress over, I don't think Bermuda gets a good 6 months. Bermuda is not going to give you a good 6 months. Some, here and there, depending on where you are, but for the most part, you're getting 5 months of just stellar, because it's not like a switch goes on and off and it's green and not green. It starts to decline as the season turns into fall for Bermuda grass. It's just not green. It's not it declines. So it does. Some people are still green in, let's just say, November, but you're not the same type of green you are when you're in June. So it declines, just like this declines in the in the heat, it declines. However, your lawn will look stellar the majority of the time, the majority of the year. So this is a time when it's not. So it gives me an opportunity to get in the back and do some stuff with Bermuda. And speaking of Bermuda, you know, here we are. This is where I am here. Definitely have issues with Bermuda as well. It's been super hot. It's super hot. And trying to prevent cracks. Let's see if I can see one. Starting to get cracks. Look at that. Starting to get cracks in the ground. So this is on the far end here. I think the rest of the yard is, you know, pretty moist. So they just let you know we're in a situation. This is not particularly normal, I'm going to say. We are hot. This is an abnormal year, and you know it's going to make you really, those water bills going to make you really think about what you want to do when you coupled with the electric bill, because it's hot. We are forecast to be between 103 and 105 for the remainder of the next 10 days, and that is hot. So for the fescue to struggle, every grass is going to struggle in that. Even this, as you can see, some of my neighbors, they're struggling with their warm season grass. So if that's going to struggle, you know, the fescue. But it looks pretty decent compared to what it could be, and I can attribute that to making sure that the fungus is not the issue. The fungus, I keep saying it all day long, that is going to be the biggest issue for any of you guys, is the fungus. That grass, if you can keep it watered, it will stay green all year long, even during this drought. As you can see, portion of the grass is just flourishing. It looks like it's flourishing. It's just green in parts of the front, particularly the shaded areas. Anyway, this is where I am right here. I think I'm going to, I was going to get this thing all leveled, which I still am going to do it, but we got so much hot weather, so it's just so bad out here. I don't want to do a whole lot, particularly because it's hot for myself, and you know, it's a lot of stress on top of the grass, and then having to keep the water down here to get the grass to respond to what I wanted to do, like growing up between leveling, putting sand out here. That sand brings a lot of heat, which brings me to this situation right here. See that right there is damage. My wife had taken out a bag of ice, and it still had water in it, and she just laid it here for whatever reason on the grass here. It was just a bag of basically water in a bag that sit out here for a couple hours, and I finally got around. I picked it up, and up under it, dead. So that's the same thing it'll be doing in this type of weather if I throw a lot of sand on top of it. That sand will heat up, and I'm trying to get it to grow through it. This is just not something that I think that's optimal for me to do a leveling job here. So I'm going to try to, I think I'm going to do a leveling job in the fall. And I know you're saying that the grass needs to grow up through it and it's going to be going dormant, but that's not the deal. The deal is I'm going to experiment with perennial ryegrass here. So I'm basically going to be making a seed bed per se. I'm going to level it all off, plant the ryegrass, and then there are some things that I've been researching and studying about bringing the Bermuda up out of the rye as the season starts to change over. But that's next year. So I'm going to probably level this with compost and then level again next year with sand. Hopefully we don't have this type of weather next year, and I'll be able to do that. So this is, I'm gonna do I said compost, but I meant like a soil compost mix. I'm gonna level this, make a real nice seed bed for the perennial ryegrass, and I'll be dealing with ryegrass throughout the remainder of the season and the year, and then into next year. That's the way I decided to go with this. On the side yard with some fescue, had some weeds popping up. Just really not concerned about this at this time, because of the drought situation. But it is coming through. It's still here. So the grass is not gone. It's not dormant or dead all over. But it's definitely not looking stellar. But I'm okay with it. It really is going to give me some time to kind of relax and do some other things that I need to get done. Now I'm giving you guys a quick update on this fly trap that I have. And it's, man, when you look in there, it's crazy. I don't know if you can see, can't get the camera to focus, but there's got to be a thousand or more flies off in this fly trap. And I have some people making comments about this fly trap bringing more flies than you normally would have, and I do agree with that. The situation is I am attracting other flies that I probably wouldn't have, but it's also attracting the flies that would be in my space, that normally would be in my space. So every fly here, had the opportunity to be over in my space, so it's calling it away from me. That's the game on trying to. You can't kill every fly in the world. That's impossible. But what I'm trying to do is distract them or attract them in other areas to keep them away from my outdoor living areas, and it's doing a job. So I may end up using 2 of these. I may find a better place to mount it, but in a nutshell, this outdoor fly trap, yeah, it is working as far as trapping flies. So I'm thinking about putting like the fly trap that hangs with the little glue that it gets stuck to, because some of the horse flies look like they are too big to get inside this trap. So with that, I can catch those too. And I'm just trying to keep them away from my area. But yet still, the Bermuda lawn is still here, and I'm hitting it with an inch of water a week, which is almost an hour on one zone. My entire backyard, well, most of the backyard is on a single zone. I have those rotating heads, those rotary heads. So those, it just takes longer for the water to get down. It's both good and bad. The good thing about it is that it takes the water longer to get down, which also allows the water to seep down into the soil, versus putting a lot of water in a short period of time. You can get runoff. So there's a give and take with those. But anyway, this is the July update. I appreciate everybody looking at the video. It means a lot, and I've just been doing this for a while, and I'm getting better, trying to get better at both the lawn and the content and the video editing. It's a lot to do, but it occupies my time. And also what I've decided to do is learn Spanish. So I'm learning Spanish and all the extra time I'm going to have without having to be dealing with that fescue. Thanks for watching.